Good morning, Sleeping Beauties! It is week 21 of the 28-week training for the Dopey Challenge at Walt Disney World. Crazy. We're almost there. I think I'm going to say that every week up until I am standing on Walt Disney World property. Anyways, so far I have run 272 miles. I almost tripped over my fan there. The rules for this challenge are that every week I must complete every training run, stretch after all runs, and tell you a story from a runDisney race weekend. There are 57 days until we will be at Walt Disney World, so I'm going to go over this week's game plan. But first, coffee! I've been making a coffee recently that I've made in the past. I don't like go through waves of drinking it and not drinking it. But it's a black eye, which is 2 shots of espresso and black coffee. And it is the drink of choice of Detroit Lions football coach Dan Campbell. So I call it the Dan Campbell. So yeah, it's pretty good. Okay, oh, is this going? No, it's not. 1 second. Hello, testing. Oh, hello, testing. I forgot to turn on the camera. So, this week, even though it is week 21, I'm actually going to do week 22's training plan, because I signed up for a half marathon. I mostly just wanted to do it so that I could prove that I could run a sub 2 half marathon. And then I was like, okay, well, if I'm going to run a half marathon, like next week's training basically has a half marathon on Saturday. So I'll just do that. So, the game plan. Tuesday will be a 45-minute run, and I'd like to get some speed in, just like, not speed, but feel out like race pace a little bit. So that will be a tempo run. Thursday will be an easy run, and then Friday calls for a 4-mile walk. I'm thinking what I'll do is just get on the bike and do like an easy Peloton bike, just to stay off my feet for race day. Then Saturday will be a 13-mile run, and then Sunday will be a 23-mile run. So lots of miles this week. I definitely will pass 300 miles for the training, which is really, really exciting. Just to see like 300 miles since July. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And I think a big theme of my training this year has been finding pride in the progress that I've seen versus just like the excitement and adrenaline from crossing a finish line. So yeah, seeing the 300 number will be really cool. Uh-oh, it's Thursday. Didn't run on Tuesday. Didn't run on Wednesday. I feel okay about that though. I did 6 miles on Monday, which was in last week's video, and half marathon Saturday, 23 miles on Sunday. So right now I'm just going to go out and run 3 miles, pretty slow and just casual 3 miles, and then probably won't run tomorrow before the race or anything, but I do have to pick up my bib. So yeah, let's go for this 3-mile run. Oh, one more thing. I forgot that I'm gonna do this for this week's videos. Instead of saying my mile time, I'm going to say how I'm feeling after each mile. Okay, let's go. Mile 1. My right hip flexor is killing me. I did not realize that it hurt that bad. I also feel a little bit silly wearing these sunglasses when there's no sun, but it's better
And then something flying in my mind. I can't talk. Okay, we'll see you mile 2. Mile 2, this is gonna sound crazy, but I feel taller. I think it's just because I'm really dizzy, but like right on the other side of dizziness is runner's high, I think. Also, I'm listening to Phantom of the Opera, and this musical has some bangers. There, inside your mind. Ba, 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 ba. And done. Oh my gosh, I'm tired. Whew.
Good morning. Okay, today's the day. First race where I am running for time. I didn't sleep great last night. I had trouble falling asleep. Once I was asleep, I slept well, but yeah, just was tossing and turning, trying to fall asleep. But I've definitely had worse sleeps the night before a race day. So I'm gonna drink my coffee and get some food, do some light stretching, and then we have like a 45-minute drive to where the race is.
Three hours later.
I ended up not recording most of that. I'll do a race overview here. Woke up this morning late. My dog jumped in my bed in the middle of the night and woke me up. And I was like tossing and turning. And so I got here a little bit later than I wanted to because I slept in. And I just kind of took my time this morning getting ready. So I got here with like just barely enough time to do a quick warm-up. And then the race like started. And just the thing that plagues me in most of my races is just coming out too hot. And that was the case again. I felt good though. And even through like mile 6 felt really good. But at like mile 4, I remembered that the race director said it's like a very sneaky downhill on the way out and then a very sneaky uphill on the way back. I also couldn't find a bathroom before the race started. And I didn't think that would be a huge problem. And then around mile 10, I started cramping really, really badly. Took like some quick 15-second walk breaks, and then just kept trucking along. There was a short Asian lady that I was right behind for most of the race. And she was quick, man. She was really quick. And around mile 10, she started pulling away, and that kind of hurt my spirits a little bit. And yeah, ultimately, like, I just pushed and pushed as hard as I could. I was very aware of what time I was at and around what time I could finish. And I got closer and closer to the finish line, and the unofficial finish time was 1 hour and 57 minutes and I think like 31 seconds. So PR'd, and it should be a sub 2 by, you know, a couple minutes. Even if my watch was off a little bit, it still should be a sub 2. So really happy with that. It's interesting because halfway through the run, I was thinking to myself, like, the whole point of my training for the Dopey has been to PR. And then I started watching the videos from last year, and just like with what corral I was in, I was like, I don't know that I'll be able to PR based on everyone else's pace and just the bottleneck points in certain parts of the course. But I knew that for me, I could PR, like I could do a sub 2 if the conditions were like in my favor, so to speak. The things that were out of my control weren't a nuisance, if you will. And, you know, I started thinking like halfway through the run, I was like, I didn't sleep well because my dog jumped in my bed, and then, you know, I couldn't find a bathroom, and da-da-da. And I was like, I'm focusing on the things that I could not control. And that is not going to help me PR right now. But I was thinking, like, you know, once I hit a sub 2, like my whole goal for the half marathon is to hit a sub 2. But if I know that I can hit a sub 2, what's really the motivation for going sub 2 at Disney? And I was thinking that throughout the race. And then I cramped at mile 10, and I finished, I PR'd sub 2, and my mindset is like, I can do that better. I can be better prepared. I can control the things that are in my control better the next time. So that's really what I'm going to focus on. You know, the cramping at mile 10, that was troublesome for me because I don't usually cramp. So I didn't know what I was supposed to do. I was just kind of like trying things on the fly that I had heard on social media, and like that was it. So I'm going to go home and rest. Another long run tomorrow, and like I finished, and you know, I thought to myself, like, job's not finished, you know? It's like what Kobe said, you know, are you happy? It's like, job's not finished. I'm satisfied with today's performance and how I did today. Job's not finished. I decided to, don't want to get copyright strike. Decided to celebrate with some Timmy Ho-Hos, the pride of Canada, and Detroit. Also, we in Detroit love Timmy Ho-Hos, also Canada, in case you didn't know. Now you know. But first, coffee! It's really hot. Donut! Oh no, the chocolate's stuck to the bag. Oh gosh. Oh, the chocolate's still in there. All right, it is Sunday. Feeling okay after, you know, the half marathon yesterday. This long run I'm gonna take as slow as I possibly can. It's a little bit colder today. I'm actually wearing my high school hockey Bauer jacket. If you've ever played hockey, you probably had a Bauer jacket. And this is like kind of windbreaker, a little bit warm, but not like super hot. So I figured it would be good for a run. Yeah, not much else to say. Long run Sunday. Let's go for this run. All right, instead of giving you my mile time at every mile, I'm gonna sing part of the song that's playing in my headphones so that I don't get caught up in, you know, the ego of my mile time. So mile 1, without me, Eminem. Now this looks like a job for me, so everybody just follow me, cause we need a little controversy, cause it feels so empty without me. Mile 2, ELO, Evil Woman. Ba-na-na-na-na. Evil Woman.
leave a woman. No. Great white, once bitten, twice shy. Ma, you once bitten, twice shy, baby. Ma, I'm once bitten, twice shy, baby. Mile 4, Green Day, basket case. Do you have the time to listen to me whine about nothing and everything all at once? Eminem, Lose Yourself. Oh, Mile 5. You only get one shot. Do not miss your chance to blow. This opportunity comes once in a lifetime. Mile 6. Earth, Wind, and Fire. Let's groove. Let's groove tonight. I don't know the words to this next part. Ba-na-na-na, da-na, da-na, da-na. I don't know the words to the song. I just know the tune. Mile 7. The Beatles. Revolution. You say you want a revolution, well, you know, we all want to change the world. Mile 8, Hamilton, My Shot. The problem is I got a lot of brains with no polish. I gotta holler just to be heard with every word. I drop knowledge, I'm a diamond in the rough. I shine a piece of coal, trying to reach my goal. My power of speech, unimpeachable. Only 19, but my mind is older. These New York City streets get colder. I shoulder every word and every disadvantage. I have learned to manage. I don't have a gun to blast. I walk these streets famished. Oh my God, that's really hard. Mile 9, Mumford and Sons, Little Lion Man. Still waiting for the intro to end. Weep for yourself, my man. You're not as brave in your heart. Weep, little lion man, you're not as brave as you were at the start. Mile 10, Smash Mouth, I'm a believer. I thought love was only true in fairy tales, meant for someone else, but not for me. Love was out to get me, da-na-na-na-na. That's the way it seemed. Na-na-na-na, disappointment haunted on my dreams. And then I saw her face. Mile 11, the School of Rock cast. Or I guess it's the other way around, whatever. These songs have long intros. Baby, we was making straight A's, but we were stuck in the dumb days. Don't take much to memorize your lies. Feel like I've been hypnotized. And then that magic man, he comes down. Woo-wee! And done. Whoo! Ouch. That one hurt. Oh. Okay, let me just, oh my gosh. I'm hurting. Some days you crank that soldier boy, some days that soldier boy cranks you. Okay, I was planning on doing way more running today than I just did. One thing with like just past experiences in general, with hindsight being 2020, is like my discernment of what I should do and shouldn't do has always been right, but I haven't always listened to that. And I'm feeling a lot of tightness in my hamstring, and just different injuries from like my toe to like the bottoms of my feet. And my thought is like, don't run more on this. Take some time and rest. The question that comes from this though is, by doing a sub 2 and being in the physical state that I'm in now, how do I improve that in the next month and a half before marathon weekend? I don't really know what that answer is, but that's like the question that I will be researching more in the next couple weeks, so I can really start implementing new things and different things. But yeah, so 13 and a half miles, you know, that's not bad by any means. It's not anywhere close to what I wanted to run today. Regardless, I still feel okay, and I think like this run was still productive because
it introduces like new questions that I need to be asking and actively finding answers for. Okay, before story time, post run dance party. Okay, so for this week's story time, I want to talk about all of my marathon weekend costumes over the years. So I'm just going to walk through all of the costumes, talk about a couple of my favorite ones, and I just ordered stuff for my costumes for this year, which is exciting. So I'll be showing you some of that in a future video. But Marathon Weekend 2023, that was my first marathon weekend, and I didn't really know how big like the costume thing is. Over the years, I've become friends with a lot of Run Disney people who take the costumes very seriously and like do an unreal job with their costumes. That was not me my first marathon weekend, and admittedly, it's still not me. I'm more of a mostly regular running outfit and then like a Disney hat kind of person. But for the 5K, and again, I didn't know like costumes were a big thing. I don't even know why I thought of this, but I was like, oh, I'm going to be like a Disney dad, or like a dad that goes to Disney and like wear things that a dad at Disney would wear. So I had like a Hawaiian shirt and then like a Donald Duck t-shirt underneath, and then like a visor. And it really it turned into like frat star goes to Disney is what it turned into. So that was my 5K. 10K, this was one of my favorite costumes that I've ever done. It was a PhotoPass photographer costume before they made the switch to like the bright green outfits that they wear now. And for that, I just bought like a fishing vest, and then I had like I don't even know what they're called, one of the big hats, and then just wore a collared shirt and blue shorts underneath it. For the half marathon, I did a stormtrooper, and so I bought this Under Armour stormtrooper shirt, wore that, and then I bought like a hat that looked like a stormtrooper helmet. And then for the marathon, that was, again, when I mentioned like I just wear like regular running clothes and then a Disney hat, that was basically what I wore for the full marathon. It was just a goofy hat and then regular running clothes. For my second Dopey challenge, this was the first Dopey where I ran with a charity. And so what I did was, for the 5K, anyone that donated could vote on what my costume would be, and they were all Disney princesses. And so for the 5K, I dressed up as Ariel. It was my first time wearing a skirt, which was interesting. But yeah, I have a lot of great pictures from that race. And spoiler, but I did it again the following year as well. So then for the 10K, dressed up as Buzz Lightyear. But that was fun because, and I've told this story, but my two friends, Anna and Michaela, they dressed up as Woody and Buzz also, and like we didn't even plan that at all, which is funny. For the half marathon, this again was one of my favorite costumes, and we did plan this one. It was a group costume, and we all bought Disney Channel Games t-shirts. And one of the reasons that I really love that costume, or like that costume idea, is because it's something that most people that see it will be like, oh my gosh, that's such a great costume, but it's not something that's super common. For Marathon Weekend, the themes are always the same for each race. For each of those races, you'll see a lot of people dressing up as those characters. So for the most part, I like to try and do something not those characters. But having said that, for the marathon that year, I did dress up as Mickey because I was like, okay, I was Goofy last year, might as well be Mickey this year. So I just had like a Mickey hat, and then again, regular running clothes it's almost like Disney bounding, but running clothes is my version of Run Disney costumes. And then finally, last year, so again, like I mentioned, ran with a charity, and so I did the same thing for fundraising, where anyone that donated could vote on my costume. So that costume was Elsa. For the 5K, dressed way too cold for running a race in January at 5 a.m. I was freezing during that race, and so overcompensated for the 10K. My costume was Jack O'Callahan from the 1980 U.S. Olympic hockey team. And I chose that because the movie Miracle, which is like the story of that hockey team, is a Disney movie. So I was like, I'll dress up as Jack O'Callahan. And then I got actually like a legit USA hockey helmet that I borrowed from a friend. So that was really cool. And like, that's the most that I've ever put into a costume, is like getting a helmet. And that's probably the most that I will ever do for a costume. Then for the half marathon, and I'm actually realizing that I said I don't usually do costumes for the theme, but last year I dressed up as Donald Duck for the half marathon. I did end up hurting my knee during that race, and so like half of the pictures that I have, I'm just like in so much pain. But regardless, I did get some good photos as well before I hurt my knee. And then finally last year for the full marathon, I dressed up as Peter Pan. Peter Pan is one of my favorite Disney movies ever, and I was just like, I have to dress up as Peter Pan. So I found a shirt on Amazon. I had green half-tight shorts, and then just wore a random green hat that I had. So again, Disney bounding, but for running. So that is my story. Those are all of my costumes so far. Like I said, I ordered some stuff for costumes for this year's Dopey challenge. So I'll probably be showing you some of those things that I get in the mail as they arrive. But thank you so much for watching. As always, we'll see you real soon. Peace.